You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Mike Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Woo, woo, woo. And we do have an intro now.
Do we?
Did it work?
Fuck you!
It works.
It works.
Listen to the fucking podcast,
God
Dad!
damn it, Dan!
Fucking Dad, listen to the guy!
I'm on it. I don't have to listen to it.
No, yes you do.
No.
You gotta listen to how you sound.
I haven't listened to a single podcast.
You gotta be that narcissistic that you gotta listen to how
I
you
listened
sound.
to it twice,
No.
sometimes 3 times.
I'm so narcissistic. I don't need to listen to myself. I know I'm good.
Oh my god. Dan can't listen to himself because like when he hears his own voice, it just like, I don't know, something happens. I was
He
trying to
just
make a
doesn't
joke,
know.
I
He
just
doesn't
can't
know.
think of it.
Just doesn't know who he is.
This is our intro. We don't
Yeah,
need
but by the
need-
way, this is Last Man in episode 104.
And I
we're
love
on.
how like we've had comments even
Or
from
104.
Nick.
104.
Yeah, 104. Where Nick from Connecticut first
We
off,
made our intro.
and then you heard it now.
Yeah, heard it, for sure.
He was just like, he tweeted at us. He's like, well, I'm so stoked that you love the intro and all that. And he's like, so glad that you guys are trying to clean up the show. First 5 seconds. You dropped about 3 F-bombs there.
Did we do it again this time?
Dude, you just yelled like the F word right into it. Like, fucking Dan.
No,
Not fucking true.
I think that was you.
I think you swore this time.
That was you.
Nope.
Shut up. I'm going to try and limit myself to 2 F-bombs an episode.
I'm keeping track from
I've
now
already
on.
used one using as an example. So that one doesn't count.
I know
Pencil,
for a fact
paper.
that I've already sworn on this episode. That's just
I think I'm clean.
You're clean?
I don't think I'm
Dan
sworn.
usually rides a pretty fine line of clean, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's
I have an image to uphold.
So guys,
I don't.
Summertime, which means
Summertime
we're
sadness.
This paper is officially Cam's swear paper.
Perfect.
Are you gonna do episode 104, 105?
We'll do just the F word.
Just the Fs?
Yeah.
So it was.
They say every other word on TV.
It's been an interesting week in sports. I literally was off the grid for 2 days and came back and didn't miss anything other than Antoine Vermette got bought out by the Arizona Coyotes. Tyson Barrie was signed by the Colorado Avalanche.
You're teasing all of our good stuff.
That is it. That is it.
Giving
That's
away
all
the-
of it.
That is all of it.
Why don't we just reveal as we go along?
No,
Yeah,
that's
you know
all.
what?
That's all that happened. There's nothing else.
Too late.
Well, wait, any more teases, or do you want to just ruin everything?
Jacob Chychrun was signed.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I still like that.
Arizona
I'm
getting
not
it?
impressed with everyone who just kind of were like, okay, top 5, sure, you're not top 5. No, even top 6. But like anyone between 6 and what?
16.
15, because he went 16.
Yeah.
6 and 15, you should be ashamed of yourself. You better hope that guy works out. Vancouver, Ole Olevi?
You better hope he works out. But
I'm a little biased, but I think Chychrun's going to be a little better. But that's just me. I don't know.
it's okay because the Vancouver Canucks have a win now mentality, not a win in 5 years
Did
mentality.
they just sign?
They're not going to win
and
now. Have you
Did,
seen that team?
did they sign?
But they
anyone?
think they can.
Hey, though, cool, awesome news. Emerson Edom, Vancouver Pride Parade was this weekend. Is that the biggest one in Canada? 'Cause there
Probably,
were
I would
a
assume
lot
so.
of people.
That or Toronto.
Right. Well, Emerson Edom had he was wearing his Canucks jersey in the parade, but the numbers were like rainbows.
Oh,
They
that's
were
cool.
sweet.
That's
I'd buy
actually-
that. I'd buy that for a jersey.
That'd
It
be
looked
cool.
really nice. They should offer that. Pride tape. I don't know if we did briefly talk about it when Edmonton they all used Pride tape at their practice and at their All-Star
Okay.
camp or
I don't
whatever.
remember that, but yeah.
Man, 5 packs of that stuff was like $60, and
That's
shipping's
that's
like
expensive.
a roll of it. I think off their website was like $8.99, and shipping was like $12. Because I wanted a roll. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. And then I was like, oh,
You're not
That's
paying-
an expensive roll of tape.
I'm not. That's a real cheap. I'm a real cheap guy.
Yeah. No.
Cam support.
Unless
is-
it's like something you really want to see, like.
Well, no. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not like saying like, oh, I don't support that whatsoever. But that price point does not support.
Cam's
budget.
bank does not support
Cam's.
the cost.
$18 worth of roll of tape. I'd never use it. I'd look at it.
Yeah.
It would just sit there as Cam stares at it. Blankly.
Yeah, there's a few things that I've purchased before that I'm like, I didn't buy that. That was stupid. I shouldn't have bought that.
Name one. Go.
Okay, one that comes to mind. I was with Dan when it happened, actually, and I ended up returning them, plural. Dan is quite a
I
movie
know.
connoisseur. And one day we were hanging out, and there was a sale at Walmart on Blu-rays. And Dan bought, like, probably $120 worth of Blu-rays. And I'm like, oh, I'll limit myself to, like, 6 or 7 DVDs, Blu-rays. So actually, you know what? Never mind. I spent like $100. But I went home.
They were like $5-10.
Yeah, but it was like back in the day when like we're working minimum or like part-time jobs, like minimum wage, where like
You have no aspiration to move out or anything. You're just like, I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
blow
can
my money.
spend money, but like you're literally
Damn. Cam still has no aspiration to move out. Let's be honest.
okay. First off, yeah,
What I'm saying,
I crush it. Okay, guys.
what I'm saying is
Crushing it.
back then,
Okay.
that's how
What's
it
up,
was.
ladies? You want to come back to my crib? I live across the hallway from my mom. But anyways, so I get home and it was around the time that like your parents like they judge you all the time. Obviously, they're just trying to guide you. And my mom's like, "What did you buy?" And I'm like, "Oh, DVD." She's like, "You don't need those." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure I do." And she's like, "How much money's left in your bank account right now after that?" And I'm like, $25. And she's like, "You got paid 2 days ago. You're returning that." And I returned all of them. Yeah.
Peer pressure.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Mom pressure.
It's rough.
Mom pressure.
In fact, you only had a $125 paycheck just...
It was part-time, dude.
I know, I'm not
like
making
3
fun of you,
hours
but
a
like...
To be
week.
fair,
I was probably more than that, but like...
remember those days, though? Like, when you only got, like, $250 paychecks, you're like, I have all the money in the world.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, dude, I can get the extra large Slurpee and a pizza to myself.
now you get $250. You're like, fuck, I owe like $400.
Yeah.
I don't have enough money to pay all this off.
If you got like $1,000 when you were younger, it was like the greatest thing ever. Now it's like, oh, God, sweet, I have $200 left to last me 3 weeks. God, I'm going to have to take a trip down to the corner.
That's like $10. You used to be able to go to like 7-Eleven, be able to like spend only $1 of that. Now you spend $10.
Now you can't even do cheap night at the movies for $10.
I know. Fucking
No,
bullshit.
barely. You can barely. do it.
$11 if you don't get any drinks or pop.
Oh
Yeah, but-
yeah, but also like that's like what movie isn't 3D or AVX 3D, which is like
There's a couple.
like 1850.
There's a couple.
Well, yeah, there's
You
a few.
just gotta just wait like 2 weeks, and then when they like, if you want to see Star Trek, wait 2 weeks because then it won't be in 3D AVX because the newer movies will be in 3D AVX, and then you can see it in regular.
That's true.
It's true. I do it all the time.
In other news, the Las Vegas team hired a GM and an assistant GM.
They hired a gym a long time.
They hired a GM a long time ago.
Well, I'm
It was-
reiterating the fact that happened.
What do you do with Vegas? They're not officially a team yet.
Call him.
Long shot. News. George McPhee is the GM of Vegas.
I
They
really-
announced their colors.
Did they?
Black
they?
and gold.
I thought so.
That's
Okay.
pretty
Black
obvious.
and gold.
They're gonna be the Knights. It's
I mean,
happening.
probably.
Black Knights. yeah.
Probably. Black Knights.
Hey, they're the
Black
only
Knights?
black and gold team in the... No, they're not.
They're not even in the West. Or,
No,
they're
no,
not.
in the West, yeah. They're the only
The
one.
only one in the West.
Yeah, but Boston is like, that's black and gold.
And then Penn's kind of too.
Black and
That's true.
Yeah, they're both... Pens and Bruins are the same color.
Oh, and they announced an assistant GM,
GM. Kelly McCrimmon,
Kelly McCrimmon, Brandon Weekings.
head coach.
You know what?
Oh,
I was thinking
GM
about
too.
this. You know what Vegas did right that Colorado didn't do right? Kelly McCrimmon's coached hockey for a long time, junior hockey. But you know what you are? You know what you are when you're a coach in junior hockey? Great manager. They hired him as assistant GM. I was thinking about that on toilet today. I was like, that's
However-
a good thought I'm going to bring up today at the podcast.
However,
Hey, you know what? The Jets did it right. Junior hockey to assistant coach. I don't remember the name of their
Charlie Huddy?
No, their assistant coach they hired this year.
We should know. That's a Jet.
Yeah,
We're
what
allegedly a
happened? I
Jet
don't remember
podcast.
who he is. He was coaching.
Dan, that's a
in,
job now. Greg, you had a point.
I was
Nope.
just going to say, on the flip side of that, you can be an all-star centerman for this team called the Colorado Avalanche and then become the team's GM and sign your most noteworthy RFA to a very interesting deal for Tyson Barrie.
I just want to say, what did McKinnon get? What was the money?
McKinnon was
6.5.
8 years, 6.3215 or
Didn't
something.
he
like
get
that.
just more than Scheifele?
Yeah, like Scheifele's is 6.1, right?
Yeah. Something like
And McKinnon is 6.3. Along those lines.
Man, Colorado's real lucky that these guys didn't have like super stellar years, like either of them in the last couple of years have been like, because like
Okay.
they got pretty like they walked away with money in their pockets for McKinnon and Barrie. Because
Yeah.
I remember last year, like midway through the year, they're like Barry's gonna get 6.5 to 7, and I'm like, whoa, okay.
Well, it's the same
Easy.
thing with Dougie Hamilton. Like, I think if Dougie Hamilton was signed this offseason, he'd get 5.
Oh,
or
yeah.
4.5. Like,
Well,
it's just the market on defensemen has dropped significantly over the last
even
couple of years.
Dumba signed the
bridge.
The
Yeah,
bridge.
the bridge.
He got the bridge.
The good old
So
bridge.
this is just obviously the price is set for Jacob Trouba, but this just keeps reiterating the fact that like you can't ask more than any of these guys, Jacob. So just get a deal done.
No, but he's got
Honestly,
Dumba's got
worst agent.
2.55 per year.
If I'm Trouba, I'm going for a bridge deal.
Yeah.
If the most I'm going to get is 5.5, and you think you're worth 7, take a bridge deal.
Dumby,
prove it to them.
Dumba, right
Yeah.
here. I
Yeah.
like it.
If Trouba takes a bridge deal and he proves he's worth $7 million, the Jets will pay him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, one more long shot before we're Vegas. We've already called this long shot. Who coached him for the last 2 years, and he's a top 5 pick this year? I'm just saying.
Nolan Patrick.
Nolan Patrick, who is
They would
currently
need-
trying out for Team Canada. They're doing like the evaluation, like World Junior Showcase right
now.
They play tomorrow.
Did you also see what came out today?
The New Jerseys.
Did you see the new Canada?
Yeah, I
jerseys?
did.
They're better than the last ones.
Not
You're not a
impressed.
fan? I like them.
Come on.
I like them.
What do you mean not better than which last ones? There's
The
two.
Olympic ones. Those were horseshit.
The
Sochi
Canada,
one?
The Canada, these
The
ones?
Sochi ones.
Those were the ones that were horseshit. weren't
No,
they?
the Sochi ones.
Or was it the World Junior ones?
Junior, where it said Canada like this?
I don't remember.
Okay, the 100th
the really
anniversary ones.
lackluster ones.
The 100th anniversary ones were
Sochi
very
was
nice.
like just a white stripe here.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Didn't like Sochi, but okay, I understand you have to do a move and like switch it up. Don't like the black on the shoulders. I'll tweet a picture. I got
I
it
do.
saved.
I actually
Not
like
a
the black
fan
on the
of it.
shoulders.
I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, okay,
a
I
little
love
different.
Team Canada, but like,
I like it.
I like
gonna
the
get-
fact that they brought black back into the
Really
jerseys.
though,
I
it
do.
takes it
Because
away.
it's not just the country Canada, it's Hockey Canada, and black is in the logo for Hockey Canada.
True.
The black and the red together.
Looks
Looks
great.
nice.
I
And,
like it.
They have like a design in the shoulders too.
I really like what they did.
Do the white ones have the black on?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't see
Yeah,
those.
I saw.
didn't see
And then
those.
they have the black alternates too.
Yeah. Which
With red on the top?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, it was
so,
red on
yeah.
the top.
That one looks a little rougher. I thought they could have worked on that one, but I'm a jersey snob. Also, before we move
Yeah,
past
cheers
this,
for the Flyers, who
The-
literally have the ugliest
the
jerseys.
greatest jerseys.
They're not
the
bad.
greatest.
They're
They're
not
great
bad.
jerseys.
Oh yeah, hey, let's do something different with our jerseys and change the name bar color different than our jersey.
Yeah, and it
dumb.
looks
The white
great.
name bar?
Looks dumb.
I like that,
It
actually.
looks great.
Nope. Not a fan.
Speaking of name bars, that's hilarious. That's actually what I was going to point out about Canada. Those name bars with that shimmer shoulders, they're going to stand out real bad.
I haven't
don't know how
seen.
they get
I
around
haven't
it.
seen that part of it. So
Oh,
I don't know.
they have like shimmer, like they have like a design in the shoulders. It'd be interesting to see what happens.
So
but I'll tweet out a picture of what the image is. Dan, you got
Did
some?
we even talk about who the Jets signed as their assistant coach?
Yeah, we had to have.
No, he didn't name who it was.
Who is
Jamie Compton. He was the head coach of the Portland Winterhawks the last 2 years.
Oh, okay.
He is now the assistant coach for the Winnipeg Jets.
Winterhawks kind of sucked ass a lot.
I don't know. That's just what it
But
says,
they've also had.
it says
certain
he got them
players
to a
that-
conference final in 2015.
Hey, guess who's now on the team next year? Long shot! Chase DeLeo, Nick Patan. Why?
Yeah.
Junior hockey.
Portland Winterhawks.
There you go.
Portland.
And then they'll somehow get Brendan Leipzig from Toronto and be like, yeah,
we
we
got
got the
it
entire
from
Portland
mine.
team.
I
We
thought,
got it, we
okay,
did.
and while we're on Vegas, I thought of this because we were talking about Evander Kane last week. If Buffalo wants to get rid of him, just don't protect him next year.
Very
I
true.
guarantee you Vegas will take him. It's the worst place where he could go, but I guarantee
Maybe it's like
But I
reverse
guarantee
psychology.
you-
They're like, you know what, Evander? We believe in you.
we believe
God,
you.
I'm terrible. Like,
Yeah.
if Evander Kane if someone ever listens to this, they're like, yeah, well, we're never dealing with these people. These guys are dead.
Speaking of Evander Kane, he actually pled not guilty to the charges that he was
Of
late.
course he would play. Like, why wouldn't you?
Just saying.
Did
he
you
pled
guys-
not guilty.
did you guys-
Did more info come out, by the way,
Did,
since?
did you guys watch the video I tweeted to you about
No.
what came out from the bouncer at the nightclub?
Yes!
Apparently
I did
he
not know.
grabbed a girl by the throat and tried to shove her in the car and all this other. This is-
Oh yeah.
and apparently the bouncer told him to like leave because he was bugging some people, and he like allegedly grabbed the bouncer by the throat and put him against the wall, said, "I'll fucking kill you or something, or leave me alone."
And it's just all alleged.
It's
obviously.
all alleged.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's
but-
the statement that was released by the security
You
guy
know-
at the nightclub.
you know what sounds absolutely terrible? Would not put it past Evander Kane to have done all of these things.
Oh, 100%.
I've had Evander Kane snub me after waiting in line for
Hey,
almost 3.5 hours.
we met him, and you said thank you for letting me win my fantasy.
That's
fantasy
true.
hockey
That
game
was
last
the
week.
makeup, though, for the time that I waited outside for 2 hours and then inside for an hour and a half 50 people away, and they're like, Evander's got prior commitments, he's leaving now. And he just left. There was like 60 people
But
left.
thank you
just
for...
rapid fire.
Because you got to go back and meet him a second time, I also got to go the second time. So.
Yeah, for sure. He helped me win my fantasy.
I would just like to say, we met Blake Wheeler and Brian Little, and there were
So
probably 400
awesome.
people lined up down the street, and they stayed for everybody.
They stayed forever. Well, it was also for charity.
True.
Evander Kane got a car out of it, so that's different.
but...
Just saying. And then Blake Wheeler, though, like, legit, I remember Dan went first, and then me, and we both had, like, printed pictures of Little and Wheeler. And, like, Blake Wheeler, I don't know if he's faking it or not, but he's like, hey, guys, how is it going? And, like, Dan and I are like, he's looking at us. Ah!
Not just being like, yeah, all right, get out.
Hey, get out of here, get out of here. I even asked a real weird question to Brian Little. I was like, hey, weird question. What flex do you use in your steak? And then they bought it like a
Did
week
you
later.
say it like that?
No.
Yeah, you must have.
I should have leaned in and been like, what flex do you use in your steak? Taste the rainbow. And like kiss him on the earlobe.
You also asked Mr. Wheeler how many autographs he signed, I think.
Oh yeah, like lifetime. God, I'm always freezing
What did he
panic
say?
in front of
Like 20,
famous people.
Like 20,000 or
He's
something?
like, oh God, probably 20, 30,000. I don't know.
Guys, it's Evander Kane's birthday today.
No, shut the hell up.
It's truly
What?
is. Yeah.
You friends with them on Facebook?
No, I just tweeted it to try and get more info on what happened, and happy birthday, Evander Kane.
That's a
popped up.
hashtag?
Was that from the Buffalo Sabres? They wished him a happy birthday? Because normally
Okay.
they do that
We
for the
wish
players.
you a happy birthday. We wish you a happy... You can't sing happy birthday without getting sued. So we got to change the tune.
Allegedly, this is coming from a news article. A 21-year-old woman is suing Evander Kane because she's saying, quote unquote, he seriously injured her in a hotel room where he lives. Documents filed July 1st in Erie County State Supreme Court say Kane met, I won't say her name, in a bar, invited her to what he said was a party, and then attacked her, causing cuts and bleeding that required multiple surgeries. Without providing details of how she was injured, her lawyer said her condition was, or she suffered serious emotional trauma and serious permanent and painful personal injuries.
Holy shit.
I would ask her if she touches her poop.
Maybe.
Why?
Do you touch your poop?
But
This
again,
lady? Why? What
again-
does that have to do
Lighten
with
up the mood.
Oh.
this is all alleged
But
alley.
you know what? While you're saying that, Greg, you had mentioned, like, I bet this might have happened, like, where Kane followed him back or invited him in. And it's like, oh, I got the green light to attempt stuff. And it didn't.
I've been around that type of lifestyle in my past, and I have seen some shit. And I would not put it past somebody in that lifestyle to do something like that. That's all I was trying to say last week.
Oh, like, yeah, you were trying to paint the picture. But
Yeah.
you put it pretty good because, like, I didn't think about it.
Well,
like,
no, and
that
that's
aspect.
just that. It's like,
But then again, my
I
sentiment
reflected on it. I'm like, what if my dad heard this or my mom, and they're like, "Has Greg done that?" I really hope Greg hasn't done that. It's like, no, I've seen situations arise like that, and I don't put it past shitty people to do shitty things. That's the thing.
And we're claiming it's shitty people, shitty things because time and time again he has not proven us wrong. So,
Unlike upstanding citizen PK Subban, who did a charity event yesterday.
yeah, just for laughs.
Yeah. And
In
was making
Montreal.
fun of himself.
He's so awesome.
He is. But no, hey, let's get rid of the problem guy and bring in Alex Radulov, Andrew Shaw, who have been suspended.
Guys, I'm going to paint you... Okay, imagine we're in a saloon, okay?
Okay.
Old Western timey saloon. We're talking about Weber and PK again. Like
Yeah.
everyone else is in the room. Barn doors swing open. This guy... Enough with the PK Subban talk. Walks away. We kicked that dead horse. It's dead now.
Yeah, I know.
The horse
I know.
is dead.
It is dead.
You kicked the dead horse, but now the horse is dead.
No,
But it
trust
was
me,
already
guys.
dead when you kicked
There's
it.
still lots more there to uncover. Did you guys even hear about that trade? I bet you haven't. Have you been around this summer?
PK Subban? I
Yeah,
haven't.
Who is PK Subban?
exactly.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
One of the best defensemen.
Heard he's a
He
douche.
does look pretty good in Nashville colors because I saw him at G Camp. Well, I saw pictures on Twitter of him at G
No,
Camp.
Cam was there.
Yeah, right.
Guys, we're part of the media. No.
Yeah, we're never getting credentials.
We are
ever.
media.
You're gonna be like, hey, do you want to explain something? You want to explain something on episode 17, minute 9? I don't know. I'm making it
No,
up.
I can't.
And then I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's literally going to be like, yeah, dude, I masturbate all the time. I did it today. I'm doing it right now. Like, it's like, it's never, we're never.
So are you the cam home that says it's never a bad idea to pee your pants?
Never. Okay, I'm standing.
Not
I
pee your
will
pants,
die on
pee
that.
the bed.
Pee the bed, that's
I
right.
will die on that hill. I've pooped myself before too. Not willingly.
By the way,
No.
I told that story this weekend to some friends, and they laughed hysterically.
The poop one?
Yeah, where you
Well,
shake
that-
it down your leg,
Yeah, left leg, always.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't intentionally.
and then you walked by it the next day, and it was still there.
Yeah, it was right there. I know. I can point exactly on the sidewalk where I did it.
I haven't heard this story. You don't have to sell it again, or if you don't.
Long
want to sell-
story short, I'll do a spark notes of it, because whatever, it's on the internet anyways. It's fine. I was in grade 10.
Your poop is on the internet?
No.
The story.
The story now is on the internet forever.
Oh.
So basically, I was in grade 10, so like 16, 17, when you should be talking to girls, and I'm just learning how
What's
to
the long version of the story?
What's that?
What's the long version of the story? Do you paint me like the kind of day
Actually,
it
no,
was?
never
He
mind.
starts in the middle and then he goes
Every
to the
one of
beginning
us-
and then he goes to the end.
And then I
And
tease
then
it.
goes back to the beginning
Tarantino.
from different points
Continue.
of view.
Continue.
Basically, walking home, and I made like this decision. I'm like, I think I can hold this poop in until I get home. Like, I don't live that far from my school. I lived like 4 or 5 blocks away, like 20-minute walk, not that far. And I'm walking in my black Dickies jeans because I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And now I only wear skinny jeans because all the waviness of the Dickies jeans. Anyways, I'm walking home and I hit like just that point where I'm like, it's too far to go back, but it's way too far to run home. Like, And I'm like, I don't know any of my friends. I can't just knock on the door like of these people. And this road was on.
could.
And so
What would
I
you
was
say
like,
if somebody randomly came up to your
Can
house
I
and
use
was
your
like,
bathroom?
"Can I use your bathroom?"
Drugs, that's my first thought.
No. Depending on, like, I would judge the hell out of the person depending on who they were and, like, if they were sketchy or not. Me, I looked like what I looked like in high school, so totally they'd be like, yeah, get in there, fatty. Come on, yeah, you do you, buddy.
Too many corn dogs.
Yeah, exactly. So
Continue.
anyways, I'm walking, and I literally had to lean. Have you ever had to, like, pinch a poop because, like, you don't have it? And, like, you literally, like, you're pushing it out, but you're holding it, and you're like, but you're like monitoring your breath. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I had to lean on a tree, and I'm like,
I like how you're standing up right now while you're explaining this.
and then I'm like, very stressed air was coming out of me. And then I was doing the clench walking home, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. And then as I'm like, there's nothing there, I took a big step. I'm like, oh no, that's totally something. And then I went back to the clench, but by opening up and then clenching, I pinched off a piece of it, and I was like, oh no. And I didn't wear like I wear
Just regular boxers, like plaid boxers.
Underwear?
like loose boxers, not
boxers.
like compression short
Yeah.
boxers. Anyways, so it had some room, and I was in some dinky work pants, right? They gotta be flexible and breathable. So what I did, I unpinched, and then I pinched again, and I'm like, oh no. And I knew it was there, so I kind of had to do a little jiggy to get it down the left side, because I didn't want a right side, I don't know why. And then I felt it, like, kind of stick to, like, my upper thigh, and then I kind of just did a little jangle on my left leg, and I popped it out right by my ankle.
Did you feel better for the rest of the walk?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
But I was like, man, I hope someone picks it up thinking it's dog poop. And then the next morning I was walking to school and it was still there, and I got so excited. I was like, hey! But it wasn't in the time that, like,
poop.
I wasn't in the time that I had a phone that could take pictures of, so I would totally save that picture forever. So yeah, my long story turned medium short long. I pooped my pants in grade 10 on the way home.
That would have been the short version.
No more came out, but like the poop dried on the way home because it was kind of humid but hot. So like I had to get in there with a wet wipe and like scrub it off the left. It was like right here, left thigh. Yeah. You know what? I can get a ride with you. Next time we get a ride, I'll show you exactly where it dropped.
At least it was a solid poop.
Oh, it was. Yeah.
Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Definitely. How do we get on my poop story?
I
I have a lot of poop stories. I have
a lot of
stories.
things. A lot of things.
Got a lot of issues.
The breadcrumbs.
This is what happens in August during hockey season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
for
nothing
sure.
to talk
There's
about.
absolutely. Okay, well, let's go down the list. Oh! The Wheaties. Voice of the Wheaties for the last, like, 2 decades. Like, our life. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name. Bruce Lebke? Anyways, he left CKLQ, which is, like, the main, the voice of the Wheat Kings.
Okay.
Like, his Twitter handle his Twitter handle is Wheat Kings Voice or Voice of the Wheat Kings or something like that. He left CKLQ, and their contract is up in a year. Next year's their last year with the Wheat Kings. So it's rumored that there might be a TSN swooping into Brandon, taking over. Maybe.
TSN what though?
No, like just a small town TSN or like not even or like CTV or someone taking over the broadcast rights for Wheat Kings. Super speculative and
1290?
all alleged in the air. I don't know, man. He'd be awesome. He'd be so
Who
good.
would?
Well, if 1290 had just like a small
Shane 90 did it?
for Weekings. Well, you want to guess who did
I
it?
think he's going to stick with the NHL. He
Yeah, I
probably
think
gets
so.
paid a lot
Guess
more
who
money.
did it before Bruce did?
No, I had no clue.
Yo, you know this face.
I'm
He
sure I do.
Works for TSN.
Darren Dreger.
Yes.
I had a,
Really?
He used
Isn't
to
that
live.
insane? I
That's
didn't know
so
that
cool.
at all.
He used to live in. He used to live in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I knew that.
We used to have a ton of people who worked here, like
Jay Allen, right?
Dutchie.
Yeah. Darren DeTish.
He worked here.
Oh, maybe not Detition. I know.
No,
other-
no, he definitely didn't.
There was another
Did
big
not.
one. Gino Retta.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure Retta or the other guy, Craig Button, maybe. Maybe I'm throwing stuff
Well,
out of the air, but there's a few
I
people.
will say this: Greg Button loves the Jets. He's like the TSN homer for
No,
Winnipeg.
he just. Well, no, he loves them, and
I was watching.
he wants free beer forever.
They're doing like you pick your best team on That's Hockey Tonight, like out of all the guys, and they're going through the positions, and they did second line right winger, and the four options were Wheeler, Kessel,
That's
Kucherov.
garbage. Wheeler's top line guy.
No, they're saying like if you were to build
the
the
whole
best
team.
Oh,
Patrick Kane was top line right winger.
Yeah.
So second line was
Oh,
Wheeler.
okay.
You pick one guy per position.
Yeah,
And it's
got it.
only 2 forward lines and 2 D. I
Yeah,
think.
okay.
But it was Wheeler, Kessel, Kucherov, and Stone.
Mark
And-
Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
yeah.
he picked Blake Wheeler, but he went as far to say that he should be the top line right winger.
Over Kane.
And he said he's Mr. Everything. So he's
Mr.
definitely a Jets homer.
Everything. Speaking of Ottawa's Mr. Everything, Michael Hoffman signed this year.
He did. I got the money. If I could read my notes. 4 years, 20.75, 5.187 per.
Not bad. Not bad for a guy that scores 30 goals.
Not bad.
Can't do bad at all.
Ottawa's
Let's see if he
Braden
scores
Shen.
30.
Yeah.
Let's see if he scores 30 again.
He's
great.
Ottawa's just
I like
a
him.
very
But,
interesting
you know,
team.
I do too, but this is one of those things where a guy has one good year, you give him a big contract, right? So we'll see.
Possibly.
I'm not saying he can't. I think he
Okay,
could occupy.
well, while we're on signings, I just want to say this is okay. We'll work our way through there, but I got to get this out now.
Wait, how much is he making?
5.1.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. He's going to be a top line guy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're a young guy, Callie Yarncroc. Have you seen this contract?
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
What the hell?
What is
Let me
that?
preface this. Young dude, career ahead of you. Why would you sign a bridge contract when you could sign a 6-year, $12 million deal?
Hey,
That's terrible.
because he knew that he had one game and he had to cash in with that one game and get $2 million per season for the next 6 seasons.
How old is he though?
Here's the thing.
20,
That is a contract.
23 to 26, somewhere
That's
in
a
there.
bad deal then.
That-
That is
Maybe
a
under.
contract.
If
that,
he was like 21, that's meh.
this is a contract that is never going to hurt Nashville and only hurt the player. And
Yeah.
there's nothing he can do about it.
Get a
'Cause
better
$2 million, there are guys getting paid to not play on teams like $1.5 million. Right now.
Brad Richards, $5 million next year with the Rangers.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You got Mike Richards that's getting paid like, his settlement. You have Stephen Weiss who's getting paid like 1.3 this year, then 1.5.
Where did he go?
Detroit. When they bought him out,
He retired, didn't he? Stephen Weiss?
it's still on General Manager.
If he
It has
retired,
him under the
that's
buyout.
garbage.
They have him under the buyout, and it's got they got some big buyout penalties for that. Speaking of Detroit, though, they signed a golie.
Peter
Mr.
Mrazek.
They did.
For
2
2
years.
years, $4 million per.
Yep.
Which is very interesting because they are very much over the cap right now. About $4.3 million. So they got to figure out either to move Jimmy Howard. They got to do something to make it under the cap this season because they're not there, and they're a very interesting team for a team that cleared Pavel Datsyuk off their books to run at Stamkos, and then now to have the issues they have. They got to do something with Jimmy
Well, but
Howard.
who'd they sign? They signed Steve Ott, they signed Thomas Vanek, and someone else.
And they signed Franz Nielsen.
That's and that was they spent
Wait,
probably
wait,
spent
wait.
Datsuk's money on those
Yeah.
3 guys.
Exactly,
I
and
wasn't
then
paying
Peter
attention to that podcast. They signed Steve Ott. Oh, God.
Yeah.
But they signed.
Why are you doing this to me, Detroit? My heart can't take this stress anymore.
But-
I don't like Steve Ott, and I really don't like your
They
organization.
signed Thomas Vanek for like $1.5 million, which
Yeah.
I think's great.
Yeah, they did good deal. Ken Holland is a lot of people still they're like, oh, he's one of the best GMs. He's starting to lose it, I think, a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, the Franz Nielsen deal
Just
was
a little
not very
bit.
good.
Because
He's 32 and he's getting 5.5 for like the next 5 years.
he's jumping the gun a bit. They're really like
Good player,
realistically,
but-
the way they're going to fit under the cap, I think, is only if guys like Johan Franzen and can't think of the other guy they have that will be on long-term IR.
Zetterberg?
No, it's not Zetterberg.
Carmel.
Zetterberg. No. It's a defenseman. I just can't think who it is. Nonetheless, but that's how they're going to fit under the cap next year. Unless they can move Jimmy Howard, and that's the
I
only
think
way.
they'll try and move Howard.
Didn't they just sign him?
No,
Like a couple years ago. But then Peter Mrazek took the helm, right?
Oh.
And Mrazek's playing more of the games, and if he's a cheaper option,
Oh.
look to a team like Edmonton. Like Jimmy Howard would be better than anybody they have.
I think you got to give Talbot more a couple.
Talbot's there. He just
You got to give
needs,
him a season, which actually Edmonton's
he
a team I
also
want to
needs-
talk
He
about.
also
needs
needs
a-
like at least 2 or 3 good defensemen.
He
in
needs a
front of
team
him.
in
He
front of
doesn't
him.
have it.
Speaking of Ed Money, actually, now that we're on it, Edmonton, they named Gretzky Keith.
Keith Gretzky.
Keith Gretzky.
The other Gretzky.
The other
The
Gretzky.
one that you didn't know about.
As the assistant GM, formerly director of amateur scouting for the Bruins for the past 5 years. Hey, guess
Paper
what?
throw.
You're out of the old boys club, Edmonton, and you're back in the game. Back at it again, Peter. Back at it again with those contracts.
And then you get a guy. So what you're saying is Edmonton's going to become the new Boston Bruins?
Boston 2.0. That's exactly what's happening right now.
So I actually heard a very good point. So they're going to sign Tim Thompson. Nonetheless.
Yes.
Oh, that please, yes. Please.
Gets Zdeno Chara when he's 39. Nonetheless, gets my
Wouldn't
point.
go to Boston.
I actually read a very good article from James Myrtle today, which was like, or no, not James Myrtle, sorry. Down Goes Brown. And he was just gauging the bizarreness of the offseason so far. But he made a very good point about the Edmonton Oilers by saying you can't keep trying to win with this core and expect different results. So even with the Hall and Larson thing that happened, even with getting Milan Lucic, they needed to change up what was in that locker room because they weren't winning with it. Doesn't matter what you threw at it, at some point it's the players. So that was his kind of making logical sense from that deal. And it was actually a really good point. Really good point. So.
Well,
We say this.
Yeah.
I say this every year. They're gonna be better, and they've proven time and time again that no, they're not. I don't know.
Should we just have an Oilers watch? One of the top 5 picks is just going to go to them this year and just pray that they're not actually in there. Oh, Nolan Patrick's an Edmonton Oiler. You know every single one of those guys who's
But,
a top 5 in the scouting reports. Just I really don't want to go to Edmonton.
In all honesty,
I really
though,
don't want to go.
yeah, but in all honesty, they're probably 2 really good defensemen away from being potentially one of the best teams in the league. They have a goalie that could get it done. They have forwards that can get it done. Their defense is atrocious. The
really
Jets
bad.
traded Adam Party there last year. Their 7th defenseman, and he played 20 plus minutes a game for Edmonton.
They also
That
have
shows
Connor
you,
McDavid.
but that shows you how bad their decor is. When
And
a
their
7th guy on
offensive-
Winnipeg, who, our bottom 2 are not anything special, but he can't crack our team, and yet he plays 20 minutes a game there. That's their problem.
Very true.
who would you... Okay, well, this question was actually brought up. 2 teams that need captains right now, or are announcing captain before the season starts. They both announce. Blues, Oilers. First, Oilers. I'm going around the room. Who you taking?
You're forgetting a
Right?
very important team that has no captain.
Okay, well, we're going to go past that for a second. Are we talking about
Jets.
Toronto?
Jets.
Winnipeg.
Oh, wow.
And Toronto also does not have a captain.
All right, let's go Edmonton. Who's your pick?
That's tough.
I'm going right out the gate, McDavid. It has to be.
Do
If
they
you're
need-
establishing, it's McDavid.
Can I just go
Go.
on a limb here and just
Yeah.
say they're not going to name a captain this year?
They
gonna
said
keep-
they're naming one. They've already announced it.
I'm going to go left field pick, Lucic.
I'm gonna
Whoa.
go
He's a
Everly.
veteran.
Add money.
And money.
Add money. Okay,
Lucic
Blues.
is a veteran. They signed
We're
him
going
to
through 4
play with the
teams,
kids.
guys.
And you're going McDavid. Okay. Blues. Ooh.
Okay, I'm going the... I have all mine already. Petro.
That's a good pick. That's a decent pick. Yeah,
That's a tough one.
I got another one right in my head. Oh,
the only other one I could think of, off the top of my head, would be Alex Steen
Oh, damn. I'm thinking of a different one. I'll wait till...
or
see
Paul
if-
Stastny.
even different than that one.
I'm trying to think of who's on the roster
Okay.
right now.
Are you going with Vladimir?
Top line center.
He's not
Who's
captain
the top line
material.
center there?
Jaden Schwartz.
Left wing.
Yeah.
No, it's ST. Damn it, you're right.
I think it's Petrangelo because I feel like he's He's the long-term
Okay.
guy there.
I think if it's anyone, my
Those
thought.
two teams have announced they're naming their captains.
Okay, my thought is it's going to be Petro, and then if it's not Petro, I'm going to go with Steen as
That's
my
a
backup
great
pick.
one.
I was going to say Oshie, but he doesn't play there anymore.
Yeah,
No.
there you go.
I was
All
going
right.
to say Bacchus, but he
Now
also
these
doesn't
two
play
teams
there.
haven't said anything or committed, so you can just take four assistants.
Two what teams?
These two other teams.
Oh, I heard Eastern teams.
Oh no,
Winnipeg's
these
not
two
Eastern.
teams have not
Okay.
committed.
We know we're going to talk forever about the Winnipeg Jets. So
We
let's
know
just
who the
move.
Jets captain is going to be. It's pretty obvious.
It's
Blake
but
Wheeler.
There's a lot of
I'm going to
argument.
say Shifley.
There's a lot of
Not
arguments
yet, not
supporting
yet. Do it
Shifley's
now.
going to be there. Why
Hey,
would
what's
you
your
not?
pick? Just say it.
Shifley.
Okay, Toronto, go.
But no, can I just
Yeah.
say why?
Go. Yes.
And they probably won't announce the captain this year just because they're going to wait to see who
They
emerges. Nonetheless, even if they
Jersey
do,
sales.
they have probably one of the best, hardest decisions to make.
When you're having-
Because they just committed to Shifley for 8 years, and then you got Blake Wheeler, who's a fantastic player, is probably their best player. If he doesn't, he's a leader in the room as well. It's tough. It's a tough call.
Here's what I'm
There's
gonna say.
arguments.
He's a leader in front of the camera also, and he has been
Yes.
for the last couple of years.
Hold on.
He's a
And
leader for.
Why not reward your best player? He's only got 3 years left on his contract. Give him the captaincy. If he's gone in 3 years, you still have Shifley. They're grooming Shifley. It's going to be Shifley's team, but why not give it to Wheeler?
Okay.
Why not
That's
give it
awesome.
to
No.
Brian Little?
You're
You guys have
and
both great
You're
points.
also hosting a Heritage Classic. You're going to have a captain to
That's
represent your
true.
team for that.
You're very true.
And that's probably
And you know
why
what, Kate?
Edmonton.
Dustin Byfuglien could get it. He doesn't like doing the media thing, and I don't think he would.
See, here's my argument for and against
Maybe
both
he would.
players.
I don't know.
Or just my thoughts on this. Wheeler hasn't been the captain, but you can clearly tell he's a leader. He doesn't care if he has a letter or not. I don't think it bothers him at all, which is fine. Greg pointed out on the podcast a bunch of months ago that Mark Scheifele, when you're signing guys in the offseason, and say you're a young guy, Mark Scheifele was a first guy, so when they're trying to get guys on the team, younger guys, I bet they tell Scheifele to give him a call, or the guys call Scheifele and be like, hey, how was it? How you been treated? How's this? If they want to commit to the youth movement, which they clearly already have, why not just commit to Scheifele? Blake Wheeler, we all know he's a leader. We already know this. But why not just have him grooming, a la Crosby? His, second year he was there? Taves. He had a lot of leaders. No. But I'm just saying, the
Landeskog.
leadership group around them, it was already clearly established that they don't run that room. They're just the face of the franchise, which it could be that situation. Just because Blake Wheeler, I don't think it bothers him if he even has a letter or not, because he does his work on the ice and off.
I don't think it bothers him either, but in 3 years, if you want to keep him,
it wouldn't hurt that
Show
he's
the
the
commitment.
captain.
if you,
Right.
I mean, to me, he's the most deserving. And if you went with him right now, and Mark Scheifele's not going to go, why am I not the captain? He's a younger, but if Blake Wheeler doesn't get named captain, in the back of his mind, aren't you going to go, why didn't the organizer, why didn't they pick me? He's not going to come out and say it. He'll be fine. He was pissed when he got snubbed from the All-Star game, but he didn't really say anything.
He
right?
enjoyed his family trip.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the back of your mind, 3 years from now, if he's deciding if he wants to stay here for the rest of his career or not, because he'll be 32, 33 by then.
Yeah.
If you snub him now, maybe he doesn't want to stay.
Yeah, fair enough. And
I don't know.
that it is a very that's the thing. I'm not gonna be upset either way. I think both guys are very deserving. Both guys have that they both have that charisma about them that they can lead a team. But to Cam's point about my point earlier, if whether they're committing to the youth movement or they think they can win between now and the next 5 years, or even now and the next 3 years with Blake Wheeler, I'd rather have Blake Wheeler as my spokesperson for the team. Because you have a guy that's been here since the inception of the team. He'll be here for close to 8 years by the time his contract's up. By the time the team's contending, if you're trying to get free agents or you're trying to get guys to move no trade clauses, wouldn't you get a well-respected guy like Wheeler to call you? Scheifele's
I'm
great
not
for the
against
youth movement.
either of them, but
Exactly.
my pick is Scheifele for the youth.
Yeah.
Scheifele's
me too.
time will come. I just think it's not right now.
Either or. I don't care. My pick Scheifele just because I think they're going to go with him.
Oh right, because
But
Ladd had the letter. I'm just trying to think of
If Wheeler becomes captain, there's not going to be one sour. I won't be mad about it. He deserves it. And last year when we came around this table to talk about the Andrew Ladd trade, and then we said, well, who's going to be captain? I think unanimously we picked Wheeler.
Yeah.
But it's kind of shown with the commitment through the team that they want Scheifele to be their guy. The other thing we could see is, well, in 2 years, if Blake Wheeler has a C, before he even goes to free agency, they're going to have an extension then.
Yep.
So
I'm
that's
sure
definitely
even
a
if he
possibility.
doesn't have one, he'll probably still be in there.
So the next question was Toronto?
Toronto.
Austin Matthews.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
But who else do you pick, really?
right out
There's
the gate?
no one else. There's
I
no one
know.
else. Like, you either go Matthews, you go Marner, or you go Nylander. Or, actually, sorry, Morgan Riley.
Yep, that's what I'd pick.
Actually,
That was
sorry,
gonna be
Morgan
my
Riley.
pick.
That's
So-
what I'd pick.
But I think in a couple of years, it should be Austin Matthews. When you think about it, all the best centers in the league are now captains of their team. Anze Kopitar, Jonathan Taves, Sidney Crosby,
You know what,
except for
honestly?
Nicholas Backstrom.
And quite honestly,
Yeah, those
Claude
guys
Giroux.
are pretty... I was like, don't you do
Henrik Sedin.
I think
He's great.
Toronto won't name a captain this year.
I was going to say the four.
They're gonna wait. They'll give Matthews an A. They'll give Riley
I'm so
an A.
excited.
They'll give a couple. They'll give some young guys. Maybe Brooks gets an A.
Yeah, Brooks Lake's definitely
But
going to have a letter on that team.
They're gonna wait a year or two, and then they're gonna make a choice.
Dude, honestly, like, it still hasn't hit me that Brooks Lake is on the team because he's like, in NHL 2010 and 11, he was always the guy I traded for. Every year. I loved having Brooks Lake on my Toronto Maple Leafs
So
team.
he is your Cal Clutterbuck.
He is my calculator.
He's the one guy you just always wanted.
I always wanted him.
Dude, is that awesome?
Him and Grabner.
Okay, him
and Grabner.
Who's your guys? Your Clutterbuck and...
Clutterbuck would be great. I don't even know if there's another one.
You want to hear my weird ones? Solely from two Canada World Juniors.
Who?
Colton Tubert. and Thomas Hickey. Every time I make a team, I'm like, nope, Colton Tubert. For what? 7th round pick, and I'm getting them. And they're like, wow, I can't believe you came to the deal. And I'm like, you're an idiot. Give me. Come on, Colton. I'll turn you into 74 overall.
Oh, Thomas Hickey, come here. Yeah, I had such a bias towards Thomas Hickey as well.
Yeah.
Similarly, like Calvin DeHaan.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Those are good ones.
you were telling me before the podcast we have some questions. Let's get to those.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, one of them was actually the captain's. That was from Nick.
Okay.
No, wait, it wasn't. That's a lie. It
that
was,
was from Brett?
That was, no. I got the
Your
questions. All the names. Here's the question from Nick.
Okay.
Someone asked best off season. It might have been Nick. It was Nick, in the same when he sent me the intro. So that was Nick, so thank you for that. Nick had another question. So who has had the best and worst off season?
Okay, so let's go around the table and go worst first.
Vancouver. God, that Greg's favorite word, and everyone points it out
pretty-
who listens that I know. Greg's favorite word, tire fire.
That's pretty
Really?
hard
People
to
say
argue.
that about me?
Yeah, I've heard it from more than one person, and they weren't in the same room together. That's how I knew Greg said that word a lot. Mine is what was the word they were pointing out?
At least it's not fuck. Like,
No.
I'm glad it's tire fire and not
Defenseman.
fuck.
What's the word I was using to describe all defensemen a couple weeks
I
ago?
don't know.
Like pedantic or
Oh.
service and pedestrian. There you go.
Pedestrian.
You were like, you said that word like 30 times in like 10 minutes. Yeah.
That's a good
worst
one.
off season for me. Completely biased. Yeah. Vancouver. They did not do
They
anything,
didn't do anything.
to help their
No.
team. They just made their long-term rebuilding problems way worse by signing those contracts that they did.
Yep. Just to change it, Vancouver's probably the worst.
No, but yeah, we can.
I'm not impressed with Edmonton. They traded aside from McDavid, they traded their best player, and I don't think they got the player they think they got back for him. They signed Lucic, but what's he going to do? He's a big bully to protect the kids.
And
They
he's going to be
didn't sign
playing
any other defensemen, and they just don't really have a good goalie.
You just signed.
So they got another high-touted draft pick. They signed a big bruiser, but how's that going to help them?
You just tied a boat anchor to McDavid. Have you seen Lucic skate fast? No. And he's on his line.
And he's
this
getting
is
$6
totally
million
off
bucks
topic.
till he's about 38 years old.
I saw a tattoo. I was just bored the other day and I was looking at dumb tattoos. And there's a tattoo on, I don't know whose wrist, someone's wrist on the internet. And it was a boat anchor. And it said, I won't be tied. Or no, what was it? You can't tie me down or something. And it was like the complete opposite of what boat anchors meant. I screwed that quote up. But it was, I get
I
it.
think
You
I
can't
get
hold me
it.
down?
Yeah, you can't hold me down or something. But
my
like,
God, it's so
it was just awful.
You know that tattoo artist was like, you're a fucking idiot the entire time he's drawing it out. You're dumb. You're
But
dumb.
you're paying me for this.
Close number 2, Montreal.
Ooh.
See,
Radulov,
I was gonna go.
That Radulov contract is awful.
Okay, no.
Why does everyone
$6
take
million.
this? It's 575.
Here's my question.
Okay, sorry.
Damn.
I'm going to add the third category to this.
Go.
I'll say who my worst team is in a second. Wild card team. The team that made some moves that, could help them, but couldn't help them, and my pick would be Montreal. They did some moves that...
Okay, mine's Detroit. For that... Detroit.
It's the wild card. Either things are going to go great, or it's going to be a... What's that, Greg?
Tire fire! I know you hear the embers.
Wild card team.
Wild card that
Who made moves
could
that
go either
might...
way?
Yeah, could go either way.
St. Louis.
Ooh.
They could be
By just
Did
losing
you say,
Bacchus?
you didn't say your worst off.
I did not see my worst.
But they're going to promote guys to a bigger role. They got rid
like
of
James
Elliott.
Schwartz.
They got rid of Bacchus. They
Jake
lost
Allen's
Troy
gonna control
Brouwer. I mean, not stars, but guys that were big pieces. They didn't really sign anybody. They still got David Perron back, but
Another team that I pick, and they're going to be my most questionable offseason. Well, definitely wildcard offseason. I would say another team under that would be the New York Islanders. Losing Kyle Okposo, signing Casey Zizekas to that weird deal.
And Andrew Ladd.
And Andrew Ladd. Wow.
Okay,
they
who's your
also
worst
lost,
team?
yeah.
It's tough. Vancouver's definitely up there.
Okay, we can universally agree. I took the easy way out just because, like, Vancouver's... I don't know what's going on there.
What team made moves?
I'm going to
you
go
didn't like?
Boston.
With Bacchus.
Just, why?
Oh,
Why?
and who is that guy they signed? That seventh D-man?
I don't remember.
Smith?
Maybe. I don't know.
Mike Riley or Smith or what's his name?
I don't know.
Kevin Smith?
Maybe.
What?
You know that D-man that, like, Greg literally is like, yeah, they signed him for 3 years for, like, $9 million. And we're like, what the hell?
Oh, which guy? Yeah.
We don't even know his name. It's like you signed a bit player for $3 million or, like, 2.7 or something. All right, best offseason. Go.
Team that... Okay, gonna be biased here, just because I like them. Carolina Hurricanes.
What?
They got Teuvo Teravainen for absolutely nothing.
And Brian Bickle.
But they got Brian Bickle.
That's fine.
No, I
They
think
have
Bickle.
they have the money to afford him.
Okay.
So why not keep him there?
All right.
They didn't go out and overspend in free agency. They didn't go out and play the sympathy card and try to get Eric Stahl. The only questionable one is really the Cam Ward signing, but they had to get to the cap floor. They're I think they're last place in, like, they have the most cap room, I think, in the NHL right now. If my memory serves me correctly. And they just have such a young team. They just signed Ryan Murphy. They're your favorite defenseman, Ryan Murphy. But they're a young team that's building through the draft and doing the right things. You don't hear them making crazy splashes, but now they have Cam Ward and Eddie Lack for a couple more years. They've got Jeff Skinner there still. They still have
Was it John Michael Lyles for Boston? Is that who you're talking
No,
about?
it
a
was
serviceable player in Elias Lindholm. And they keep getting these guys, like...
Hey, show some respect. I'm using one of my 2 F words right now. The fucking all-star, Justin Falk.
Exactly. And him too.
Joe Morrow?
No.
No, come on. Name all their D right now. Go. Last names.
Joe Morrow.
Okay.
Kevin Miller.
That's who it was.
Kevin Miller.
Kevin Miller.
All right. That's
Kevin Miller, too, not an I. Who
No,
are you?
Kevin.
Kevin Miller.
Kevin.
But yeah, no, I would say Carolina would probably, for me, they got a young player in Teuvo Teravainen, didn't have to give up much, and they're still a young team. They're not going to be the best because they're in a very tough division, but they're doing the right things. And I think they drafted, like 8th this year and got a decent player.
Okay, best
remember
offseason,
who they
Dan, go.
You come back to me.
Come back to you.
You go.
I'm drawing blank on, like, I mean, this team.
I want to look up a team because I'm trying to remember what they did, but I think
I'm
I
trying to
liked
go
it.
through the teams. in my head.
I know where Dan's going. Guess. Can I guess where Dan's going?
Yeah.
You can guess.
Don't
New
answer
Jersey
yet.
Devils. No. Okay, just wondering.
Come on.
Okay, I don't know why.
Actually,
They got Taylor Hall.
I guess it's because I'm staring directly at the logo. Just the Patrick Laine move alone was huge. Like
Then
the
signing
move-
Sean Mathias.
Not the move, but getting it.
It was
Just
yeah.
Laine alone, if they did nothing else, that's monstrous.
Well, I think the Leafs did well by
Well,
getting
see,
Austin Matthews.
my 2 picks on I'll say Winnipeg, but it's the Leafs or Winnipeg in terms of, like, best offseason because I'm thinking, like, to the future.
I
They
got
didn't go
it.
out and do anything stupid, and that is the number one thing you can't, like. You look at these
It's
huge
not
deals
5 years ago,
for old
6 years
guys,
ago, yeah.
like 29-year-olds getting 6-year deals for $6 million. Where you're like, oh god, they might not be that good at the end of this contract. But it's like, oh, but the first 3 years, but the last 3. Ugh.
Okay.
Continue.
My team, a team that I'm not crazy about their offseason, Dallas.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
They lost.
Actually,
they
another-
lost some of their better. They lost a couple of good defensemen, and they don't really have any to begin with.
Okay, best offseason game.
Florida. I like what they
They
did.
added a lot.
They got
They went crazy.
Tell me-
Jason Demers, Keith Yandel. Not bad.
Oh, shit.
Not bad additions to your
Forgot
decor.
about him.
They got James Reimer as a backup now. They got Jared McCann for a steal.
Yeah.
Whoa! Again, Vancouver!
And Mark Pissick.
Mark, yeah, and they
Solid pickup.
They got Colton
For-
Sevier from Dallas. They got some good, interesting pieces.
Okay, that's a
You know-
great pick.
and they weren't a bad team to begin with.
You know who's another team that made some moves that you could, like, Florida, we already know, like, they did a lot. They might have had the best offseason. But
That's a great pick.
another team that filled the holes that needed to be filled on their team and upgraded in areas that needed upgrading, Calgary Flames.
Yep.
By adding Troy Brouwer and Brian Elliott, they are a better team now than what they were at the start of free agency.
The one thing they were missing was a goalie. Granted, they haven't signed Gaudreau or Monahan. They will. But
Brian Burke's holding out.
Okay, hold on.
did you? I just thought this. There was
Kucherov,
a signing yesterday.
Kucherov,
Did you even
Gaudreau,
mention it?
Monahan, Tyson Berry.
No, Sam Gagne. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it.
Sam Gagne signed
I
with the
have
Columbus
it
Blue
actually.
Jackets.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, 600K. There's one team.
Oh,
if
where's
I
the
was
offseason? Philly Flyers. They signed Gudas for $3 million a year.
Yeah.
That's awful. That might be the
I'm
worst.
using it up. Fuck you guys. You can fuck
That might be
yourselves.
the worst
I even went
contract
over
in
today.
the history
Mark
of
it in. That's
hockey.
3. Probably
That's
5. I didn't count.
No. Continue. What were you say?
Unbelievable.
It
What do you
is
say?
terrible and unbelievable. I know.
Shut up.
What were you going to
You go
say?
for-
You're
Jack-
gonna hate that contract.
I
as
love
well.
him and I love
2
him.
months.
I get to look at him.
I can't wait for him to just get walked over by everybody. Everyone.
When you pair him up with the greatest superstar back-to-back times 9, Norris winner, Ivan Provorov, he's going to look amazing.
Oh my god. Nonetheless, what were you going to say before Dan interrupted you?
Kucherov's still not signed.
Yes.
Neither are, they signed Nemestikov though, so that's
Yes,
cool.
that's a thing.
The Coyotes signed 2 people, Connor Murphy, Mark Stone. Mark Stone 1 year, Connor Murphy 6 years at 3.85 per. So they're obviously going with the future in getting pucks to the forwards. As
Pucks to
John
the
Chika
forwards.
said.
Pucks to the forwards.
His job, puck to forwards. He didn't say that. He said it in way smarter words.
Yeah, but to simpletons, that's what he said. Yeah,
The Coyotes didn't actually have not had a. I actually like what the Coyotes did.
Yeah, they got Pavel Datsuk.
And they robbed Philly last year and got Pronger.
But their weak point was defense.
They got Jacob
They
Chichen.
got Ekman Larson. They got Luke Shen for nothing. They got Alex Goligoski, who's serviceable still.
Yep.
They got some good young kids on playing forward.
They have a future.
They bought out Vermette, which that's fine.
Domi said they're not far away from playoffs, which I'm not. I'm not
In that
against.
division, they're not.
Here's a question.
In Pacific,
That division.
Here's a
you
question.
got to win like 3 games at the end of the year.
Yeah,
You know that the GM relationship is there potentially between Cheka and Mr. Holland. Do you make that phone call and say, "I want Jimmy Howard for next to nothing"?
They already have.
Like
But
saying-
then you
saying we
tandem
helped
Mike
you
Smith and Jimmy Howard. It's a tough thing to do.
That would be
but,
like $10 million in goalies.
But then they don't need to protect one of the two of them. Going
do
forward.
it for a year.
So why would you do that then at all? Oh, for playoff run.
Well, just
I don't
because
think they-
Mike Smith gets hurt all the time.
Who's their backup?
Exactly. And he played 30 games last
Here's a
year.
good one. Who is their backup? I don't know. I'm asking. I'm not quizzing. Also, who's their backup? I know this because of something, but who's the backup in New Jersey?
Curtis Kincaid.
I think it's Keith.
Keith-
but yeah,
Keith Kincaid.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah, do you, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because he played one game in the first 45 for New Jersey. It was like, oh, and
Oh,
Keith
you mean
Kincaid
he
got
played-
the very nice start today.
Corey Schneider. Didn't he play like, 70 games
Yeah.
last year or something?
Who'd they sign, the Devils? They signed someone this offseason. I know they got Taylor Hall, but
You mean Kyle Palmieri?
Yeah.
They re-signed him?
hey, 30 goal man last year.
Kyle Palmieri, Team USA. Kyle Palmieri. All right, we got it.
I promised myself no rants today.
Closing words, guys. What are we closing out on?
This podcast was a what, Cam?
Tire fire.
Tire fire.
Tire fire. Oh, no, dude! Oh, nope, we can't close this yet. Nope, we're running time. Brett, long-time listener, Long-time contact. Here we go. I thought it was going to make it sound way cooler. Hey guys, long-time original listener, Brett from Wisconsin. Now on the Cape in Massachusetts for the summer. Awesome. First off, send us pics. I want to see what that place looks like. I know that people talk funny. To me, they do. No offense.
People in Wisconsin talk funny.
Yeah, but Massachusetts, oh, dude, clam chowder. Go Pats and bees. Go Sox.
Go Sox.
And there goes us ever going there. All right. These long, hot days working on the golf course get tough sometimes, so I'd like to thank you guys for helping me get through it. I personally think Phil Casso just doesn't give a fuck about worlds. Let's be real, like America really has a chance of winning unless we play some boring trap defensive style of hockey. Who do you guys have winning the worlds or has a shot? I personally am wondering if Europe or the under-23 team is just going to get dusted. Oh, you are mistaken. Anyways, guys, gotta grind through till hockey season. Drink them Slurpees.
As a biased
Hey, Brad, first off.
As a biased Jets fan, I will be cheering for USA and Team North America because there's 3 on the Young Guns team and there are 2...
3? Oh, yeah, right.
Hellebuck, Shifley, Trouba. Even though 2 of them might not play. That's okay. And Team USA, Buffalo Wheeler.
No, yeah.
Of course I'll be cheering for Canada, but those are the homer teams for me.
It's being a Canadian... Like in hockey sometimes, like I cheer hard at juniors, but like in any other time, I don't cheer that hard.
Can I honestly say,
go.
I don't care.
Oh, I also...
I don't care.
I want to fully establish we don't care.
Could I second that and say I don't care either? They have pre-tournament games that start September 8th. In a month and a week, they have pre-tournament games. These guys are going for almost, like, normally the regular season doesn't start to October. They have to essentially play another regular season for an extra month on top of that.
Yeah.
So instead of an 8-month regular season, they now have a 9-month regular season.
The Cup was rewarded 99 days till
seven.
First puck drop to World Cup.
It's stupid.
Guys.
Matt Cullen, like, they're only like a third of the way or like just under half of the way through the guys getting their cup.
Yeah.
They with the cup. That sucks.
I want Team North America because I want to hear that Whitney Houston when they raise
When
they raise some flag. I don't know what they're gonna.
Or
raise.
Europe.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I don't care.
It'll be
and
fun.
I won't be watching it. Period.
I'm watching.
I don't have
I'll
Sportsnet,
watch it.
so I'm not watching it.
You have Sportsnet.
I don't have Sportsnet.
You're a liar.
I'm not lying.
You're lying.
I'm not. I will send you a picture with the gap in my... I'll turn to the channels and it'll be like, to order this channel, please call MTS. And I'll be like, yeah, I don't have Sportsnet.
Why?
Let's get it real.
I'm
here.
not...
The only reason Cam has Sportsnet is so he can watch wrestling.
That's true.
Not denying
Good
that.
God.
I am not denying that at all. But I also watch Toronto wrestling because Dan's got the network and he's nice enough to let me steal his password.
As long as I'm not on there, you can
It's wicked.
have a hate it.
It's wicked.
I think about it all the time and I'm just like...
What, wrestling?
No, just like getting Sportsnet. I'm like, I can't listen to those guys.
do it.
I legitimately can't do it.
You have Game Center, don't you?
I didn't activate it. I didn't activate it because I don't remember my
Game Center, you
registration.
can use it, so
I
that's
didn't remember my... I'm going to get it next year, though, just so I can watch Colorado and Dallas play more.
I'm so glad.
Oh, Tyson Berry got the Bozeman contract. 22 overall. Still counts.
Yeah.
I'm so glad the Jets are on TSN still for the next, 7 years.
For the next forever. Please
Until
don't
that
leave.
contract's over. Actually,
They'll
theory.
renew it. TSN will shell out the money to keep
No, theory.
Ottawa.
TSN gets hockey back at the end of this Sportsnet contract.
and the Jets
And they
worst thing ever.
They'll keep their exclusivity contracts. They'll pay a lot of money to keep those. Because Sportsnet's keeping the Oilers, Canucks, and the Flames still.
There was a rumor going around that this is during the year, and they did it a couple times, but that the TSN panel, they were going to start being at the Jets games to do intermissions.
Cool.
It happened a couple times, but
I want a selfie with Bobby, man.
I don't know if it happened here. I think it happened when they were on the road somewhere. I think it was in Ottawa because Ottawa and Winnipeg are the 2 TSN teams. So I think they went to Ottawa because it was technically on both.
Yeah, I
They
remember
could have,
that.
joint.
I remember that. Yeah.
But could you imagine Bobby Mack on all the Jets games?
That'd be so awesome.
Great.
Actually, here's another theory, or another question I have for you guys. In the NFL, the CBC and Fox share it. And then NBC gets their games. Why don't they do a 3-network split? Let each channel have their night. So let Wednesday Night Hockey be on TSN. Let Saturday night be on Hockey Night in Canada. And then, Monday night can be Sportsnet's or something like
They
that.
used to do that.
Here's an example.
TSN used to have Wednesday night hockey.
Yeah.
And then CBC was on Saturdays,
Yeah.
and then sometimes there'd be
Sunday
like,
night hometown hockey, Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon NBC.
There you go.
Oh, Sunday afternoon still there because NBC.
NBC is better than Sportsnet.
NBC because it's in America.
Yeah.
They have well, the states all share. Like they just
Yeah.
do their own like. Atlanta
Actu-
had it, or they had like exclusivities.
No, sorry. NBC has national broadcasts.
Yeah, they have their most this year is 106 ever. So
Yes,
160.
but it's because they have NBCSN. That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest. Like, it's on that Sportsnet
Yeah.
network all the time. However, why we can't do that for legitimately, and it's the same in baseball. ESPN shares nationally broadcasted games. Fox shares nationally broadcasted games. Why is it in hockey, where the sport's the biggest, we have to watch on one network? Why can't it be spread across everywhere? Because one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people have with Sportsnet is it's a premium channel for most cable companies. So they have to pay more money to get it, whereas TSN is a stable package deal. Now, for some cable companies, depending who you're with, it is just you get one Sportsnet channel and that's it. But hey, if it's a Sportsnet channel that has a Flames game on, oh, out of luck, can't watch it.
Roger
Local
Williams,
blackout.
the
So
bane of my existence.
by being able to split it between the networks of Sportsnet and TSN, what they'd be able to do is still have the local blackout games and be able to have the regional broadcasts, but have the ability to nationally broadcast games for everyone to watch. Because that's what people... A lot of people are getting upset with the way Sportsnet does their things, and we've seen it. They've done a whole turnaround there. And TSN...
Oh, you mean how the same game's on 5 channels? Like when they play games, it's like, oh, game of the night on 5 channels. It's like,
and even
oh, Calgary versus Vancouver, and I'm like, dude, the
no one
Jets
wants to watch that.
No, and they play it through 5 channels, like all 5 channels.
and
have
the
it.
personnel they have,
It's just not
not
good.
good.
I want Neapolitan. I want a little bit of everything. Or it's like,
Well,
oh,
you know
sweet,
what
the
was
Jets are
great?
playing this on NBC. Nice. I love Doc Emmerich.
You know what
like
was
stuff
great?
Like that.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but like back when TSN only had 1 channel instead of 5,
Yep.
or 2 channels instead of 5, they'd have their regular broadcasted games. So it could be like Montreal that night. So Montreal's playing against like, let's just pick a
Toronto.
random team. No, not Toronto. Like Montreal versus
Carolina.
Carolina. Not like a highlight game. You might not watch it, but what do they have on TSN2? Oh, they have the Sunrise. Like, they still do this on Sportsnet, but they have the Sunrise Florida game between the Panthers and the Lightning. Oh, this is fun to watch.
Because we never get this.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and like there was always hockey on TSN2, and there's always hockey on the regular TSN. For Sportsnet, they have too many hands in the cookie jar. They have MLB, they have NBA, they have curling, they have
Rogers
baseball
Cup.
and Rogers Cup. They have everything. They have their hands in everything, and it's impossible for them to cover everything. At least with
Well,
At
TSN.
least to extensive.
And you have to remember too, Blue Jays are doing well, Raptors
Yeah.
are doing well, so they're gonna, and it's Toronto, the
Oh,
center
here's
of the
another
universe,
one.
so they're
Here-
gonna put those on.
Here's another one that I wasn't a fan of because they used to be real good at it, and now their coverage still okay, but they don't focus on it. They
Junior
did
hockey.
Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
They didn't play 2 games out of the freaking 10 games or 12 that were played. What are you doing? Like, they only played, this happens once ever. Like, in terms of, like this team this year, right now, these teams are only play once now. And they're like, no, the Raptors game is on. And I'm like, you have 5 goddamn channels.
Yes.
5. Put it on one of them. Oh, I was so pissed. It was
they have-
London
here's
versus
the thing.
the French.
Here's the thing that makes
Sorry,
no
guys.
sense is they have Sportsnet 360 and Sportsnet 1. Okay, so what they could do is let's say, okay, we know that people have West and Ontario and East and Pacific. So you can play the Raptors game on those 4. But hey, play the Mem Cup game on 360 or play the Mem Cup game on Sportsnet 1. People want to watch that, but no, we got to pander for some. They legitimately, I just don't get it. I don't get some of what they do. Like, I understand how TSN works because a lot of people are like, why is there the same thing on the 4 channels? Because it's all region locked. We're lucky enough to have TSN 1 through 5 as like a stable, like on my cable bill. Like that is part of the generic channels. Not everyone has that. Like TSN 1 is in a certain area. TSN 2
We're
is for
TSN 2.
everyone.
I
No, we're
will say-
TSN 3.
Yeah.
TSN 4 is in Toronto. TSN 5 is Ottawa. Like TSN 1 I think is for the rest of the country.
Oh, got it.
And then TSN 2 is so like not everybody has everything. Like
Yeah.
as a staple in Manitoba and I think in Saskatchewan you get TSN 3. So like there is different things all the time, but they still have TSN2 where they show different things. It's just being able to monopolize and figure out what people want to watch and how people want to watch. And they just haven't figured it out yet. And they're like, why they don't share it makes no sense. It's more money for the NHL. Because honestly, like, do you remember how much the deal was?
For what?
Rogers Sportsnet to get the games?
I don't. Oh, what do you mean buy like the package for a year for me?
No. How
The deal
much
they made with the NHL.
Yeah, the deal they
I
made.
don't know.
Was it like hundreds of millions?
It was
Probably hundreds of million, but
Okay,
not
let's
like
just-
It was
not
a
like
lot.
the NBA package.
Let's
was like
just
billions.
let's just ballpark. Let's just say it was $200 million for them to get exclusivity rights. Well, instead the NHL goes back to them and is like, well, we want $150 million from each of you guys this time. That's $300 million instead of $200. And both companies had to pay less to have rights to nationally broadcast the games. Now, it's not exclusivity rights, but hey, Sportsnet could have their Sunday nights, we could have Saturday nights for CBC, and Wednesday nights for TSN, and then they could share nationally broadcasted games with everyone else. I just want to watch more hockey. I just want more hockey to be readily available on my TV at all times. And with broadcasters that make the game exciting.
Sportsnet got it right during the playoffs this year when they realized, oh, it's intermission. You don't want to hear these stupid people talk. Let's just show you this other game that's on.
So true.
I was
And then
so happy
They
they
tossed
did
a few
that.
people and all that.
That's the one thing I miss about TSN the most. And obviously, like,
Plus
I'm
their
sure
panel was amazing.
I'm sure it's the same way with like the Americans with either baseball or football. I'm sure it's the same with basketball. When you get connected to a group of guys, that is the guys that you latch onto and you're like, these guys are the best. Like, I'm sure I'm the same way as I'm sure maybe you guys are. But ESPN Sunday mornings for NFL football was the best. Period.
Draw the
No?
line.
Where are you?
Fox Sports, the robot. I'm there for the robot and Jerome Bettis.
At 11 o'clock. I'm there at 10:30 watching.
Which one is Rob
Ooh,
Riggle
extra
on
half hour
sometimes?
this guy. What's that?
Which one's Rob Riggle on sometimes?
Rob Riggle?
The
That's
guy
Fox.
that's in every movie.
That's Fox, and they have Frank Caliendo.
Okay, that one's the best because he makes fun of little kids.
Okay, we're pandering. We gotta wrap it.
Wrap it.
We're wrapping it. We'll come
Wrapping it.
back and talk about it.
Sports next time on Last Man In podcast. Check
And where
us
do they
out.
find us?
Check us out on. I was getting there before you interrupted
Well,
me.
hurry.
Okay. Check us out on YouTube, Last Man In podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, whether that is the podcast app through iTunes, which I had to show someone how to do the other day, or Google Play, Last Man In podcast. Check us out on Twitter at Last Man In PC. If you want to get a hold of the podcast, lastmaninpc@gmail.com. See you guys next week. Nailed it.